Hey, Brandon.
There they are.
Good
Hi,
morning.
guys. Super excited today to welcome you to a brand new episode of Shut Up and Thrive.
Live.
There you go. We almost got it there. We're almost synced up. We are super
We are
excited today
synced.
because
It's the nocturnal. Yes, Brandon.
can you
I'm
hear
so
me?
excited. Yes, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Can you hear Dimitri?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are
There's a little
super
bit of a delay,
excited.
but it's all right. The robots are acting up.
The robots are acting up. Okay, so we'll wait to hear. I'm super excited, Brandon, that we get to do our show today together, and I'd love for us to catch up. And then I get to be with my dear, precious friend, Dimitri, who's a superstar. And I'm so honored and blessed to be here with him. So before we bring him on, Brandon, what's good in your world today?
You know what? What's been amazing in my world is, I've started a new business a few months ago, and I've had some challenges over the past week that have just been awesome. I think if everything's going great, these challenges are meant to make you better, and I'm learning every single day, and it's been a blessing.
I love that. Yes, it is. If we are open to learning and being curious, the world's our oyster, right? And thank you
That's
for
right.
sharing that. I wanted to share with you, I'm in Chicago with Dimitri, and I lived here for 30 years. And so many beautiful memories with my family, raising children here. And now I live in Nashville, and I've been away for many years now at this point. And I notice I have joy to see my friends, but also this sadness all at the same time, missing how things were, missing how I had time with my kids. And transformation and change brings joy, but it also, there's sadness, the letting go, feeling emotions all the way through. The sadness must exit for joy to come forward. And so when I met Dimitri, he asked how I was doing, and I said, I'm feeling sad right now. And this podcast is about feeling our feelings, being real. And the shut up and thrive part is about shut up the part that doesn't serve your well being and growing yourself, your team, your business. And we don't want to shut up our emotions because there's intelligence and wisdom in our emotions. So I've just been feeling my feelings, feeling the sadness as I got on the train, looking at Chicago and seeing all the beauty and all the things that are happening here and that I've been a part of since I was like 22 years old. Don't do the math on that, guys. So I just want to encourage all of you in this world to be human, to be real, to be authentic, and that's what this podcast is about. We want to have companies that are thriving by being human and real and psychologically safe, where we can share with each other how we're really doing today. Because there's a lot of things going on in the world, things that seem scary and uncertain. And Dimitri's world of wealth, that's always scary and uncertain at times too, and exciting, all the things.
That's right.
And it's what we choose to feel or not feel. And we can't make the best decisions if we stay in our emotions. So I'm allowing the sadness to just come up and out. And so I don't make decisions from it, right? So if I made decisions from the past, which is where sadness comes from, I probably wouldn't be creating a great future because I'm going to think about resentment or loss or, right? So it must come through us. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's a long answer to your question, but
I love it. And I'm glad you're there, and I'm glad you're with Dimitri. And I want to go ahead and welcome in Dimitri Eliopoulos. He is the CEO of Curi Capital, a national wealth management firm overseeing more than 14 billion in assets. Yes, that's with a B. In assets under management and advisement. With over 2 decades of experience, he has built and led high-performing teams, helped grow multiple firms, and he's passionate about developing leaders and creating organizations rooted in relationships, strategy, and long-term value. Welcome, Dimitri.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Great to be with you both. And Brandon, great to meet you virtually. And I think our audience should know yesterday was Deborah's birthday, so happy birthday, Deborah.
Thank you, Dimitri.
Happy
Thank you, thank you.
birthday, Deborah, for sure.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that I've met many CEOs and meet many CEOs. And everyone in the podcast world, no matter what industry you're in, Dimitri is just one of the kindest leader that you could ever meet. He is real. He steps up. He is committed to learning and growing. We work together on conscious leadership, on how we think, feel, and behave for years. And he is a leader in that. He is a leader in leading himself so that he can lead his people. And he is a role model to me. And if you are a leader or a CEO, you need to know Dimitri. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's all true. It's just I'm super blessed to be here. So Dimitri, we have known each other for gosh, how many years now?
It has to be at least 10 years, I would say.
Yeah,
11, 11, 12 years, but we haven't seen each other in person in probably 7 or 8.
So many years.
So,
so many years.
It's great to get reunited in person.
Totally. Thank you. Thank you. So Dimitri and I met in Hinsdale / Chicago when he worked with a firm at that point called Curi Capital. And then he had some transition, moved to Curi Capital, which I'm going to let him share about that. And then he's now back at R&B, which is now Curi. So tell us about any part of your journey of growing, your journey of leaving and coming back, and all your experiences that would be learning for us.
Sure. Yeah, that's it's an awesome question. I'm really fortunate, really blessed to have these experiences. Brandon talked about at the beginning how he's launching a new business and he's dealing with different circumstances and obstacles. You were talking about how coming back has been a huge kind of reflection on 3 decades of your life, and it brought you some sadness. And when I was listening to both of you, it just reminded me that life is literally a series of experiences. Mm-hmm. And those experiences could be daily. They could be through a number of different months or years or seasons, right? It could be, I think our lives have 4 seasons, just like our year has 4 seasons. So going back to your specific question, the decision and the experience that I was living about 7 years ago, contemplating leaving what was then RMB Capital to move down to North Carolina, to Raleigh, to help launch Curi Capital, which was a startup. It wasn't solely a business decision. It wasn't only a career decision. It was a personal decision. It was a family decision. I mean, I was really thinking about all the different people and constituents in my life. And it was tough. It was exciting. It was tough. It was emotional. At the beginning, a lot of it was just reactionary. But there was this moment where Curi made the offer, and it went from like an exciting process to like, oh shit, what do I do now? And at first, because of the reaction I saw from my family, my parents, my in-laws, a few of my coworkers that were in the know, I just couldn't do it. So I turned it down. Mm-hmm. I turned it down, and put my head back down and just continue to march ahead. And about 5, 6, 7 months later, the opportunity came back. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I remember thinking to myself, you know what? The failure here is to not give this a shot. Mm-hmm. And I realized that the decision I had made earlier was really fear-based. Mm-hmm. It was a fear-based decision.
Yes.
What was I going to give up? What was I going to leave behind? And just after letting it marinate a little bit and thinking about it, rarely in our lives do we have big opportunities, but to have that opportunity come to you again, yes. I feel like at that point I would have regretted it. And I also knew from like a calculated risk perspective that the worst thing that was going to happen is I was going to go there, wasn't going to like it, or it wasn't going to work out, but my family and I were going to experience something, and we were going to learn something.
That's right.
So as I've reflected on that now, and this was about 7 years ago, it was a moment of healthy discomfort.
That's right.
Starting something new, moving to a state that I never stepped foot in. My wife and I were super blessed with 3 amazing daughters. They were 7, 4, and 1 at the time.
Yeah.
And so then we move, and COVID hits 2 months later. So that was the next obstacle in the whole journey.
Yeah.
It was really significant, and it was kind of a defining moment in my life, because I want to, from that point forward, I really want to work on making decisions for myself, for my family, for my business, for anything that I'm involved with, but not have it rooted on fear.
That's right.
And to have it rooted on opportunity.
Yes.
And to not necessarily worry about what you potentially could be leaving behind, but what you're going towards.
Yes.
And again, you hit this a little bit, Deborah, in your sort of feelings this morning.
Yes.
I think it's okay to reflect on those 3 decades.
Yes.
But there's a reason why you chose something different. You moved to Nashville, and it's all part of your story.
That's right.
It's all part of your story.
So what you guys, what Dimitri is sharing right now is the work of a true leader. We all have fear, but when it keeps us stuck and trapped or making short-sighted decisions, we will never get abundance. We will never get growth from it. Growth requires, which you had said, discomfort. We must step through the fear, the anxiety, the unknown to experience a new creation and a new birthing of sorts.
Sure.
And that's what you did. And so you were brave. You took your fear. You didn't let it stop you. And you looked at what could be possible. And something else you had said was, if I don't take this opportunity, it could be that could be the failure, not taking that opportunity. And I love thinking about the word failure as just feedback.
Correct.
We're always just learning. And so really, we don't have to be afraid of failure. It's just, oh, what can I learn from this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you're right. I don't necessarily think there's failure in the world. It's experience. To me, life is literally experiences and relationships. Right. If I was going to, and I try to simplify things, even though we live in a complex world, experiences and relationships. And now, fast forward, it's been over 6 years. My family and I lived in North Carolina for nearly 5. We've been back in the Chicagoland area for about a year and a half. Coming back has been phenomenal, but it was also really sad to leave Raleigh. Yeah. Why? Because we were able to experience and now have so much abundance. It's a great city. It's a great part of the country. We literally have made at least a dozen, if not more, really close friendship relationships. Those will be lifelong relationships. The coworkers that I've started working with that have become friends over the years, the travel that we were doing down in the Southeast into parts of the country that candidly we probably would have never traveled to, and in many of them I'd never have even heard of. Yeah. So, and there's countless things, the people that we met, and the successes of Curi Capital, the obstacles that the business had to face over the years that every person in every business faces. It was all part of that learning and abundance, and I am so grateful. Yes. That we found that courage from within to take that step. And then the crazy, ending to the whole story is having the opportunity to then bring Curi and R&B together. It's amazing. And that's a whole other story for another podcast. Well, we can come into some of that too, because I would appreciate that, because that's your beauty, your amazing self and wisdom. So true. Everything you are saying, Dimitri. When we fully step into what wants to come to us, what wants to be birthed through us, what's to be created, and you accepted that, and you continue to accept that, and you made these beautiful connections with these potentially 12 or more families, people, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to go back to Chicago, and you're still going to have them, but yet there's this still a different way that you connect with them. But I wanted to say the most important thing you had said about that to me is relationships. And how we relate to ourselves, which I think you're amazing at. Like, you're always checking in with yourself. How we relate to ourselves is how we're going to relate
to each other, no matter who the other person is on the other side. And how we show up for ourselves is how we're going to show up with the people on the other side of us. And so, business, by the way, guys, I always like to say this, business is built on relationships. So our growth, I love connecting great people. I always connect Dimitri to great people because I think great business is built out of great connections.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they're exact connect fit or not, it's like, why don't we just keep connecting each other? We need each other in this world right now. You had mentioned COVID. We have not really overcome, I don't think, in our country, in the world, loss. We've gone through a lot in the last 6 years. And so we really need each other. So this is a plug for, hey guys, make sure you take time to take care of yourself and make sure you're taking time to like really invest in your people as people, because those relationships are gold. What, there was a thought I had I wanted to ask you. So you said you combined. This is another thing you didn't think would happen, right?
Correct.
So vision. Every leader, every CEO has a vision to grow their company.
Yes.
Right. And you think about it and you think about it and you're like, how do I grow this? And you get excited and maybe worried or frustrated at times, depending on what's going on. And I'm going to bring this up because there is an equation you might remember of how we actually get the outcome we want when we're trying to grow our company. Do you remember the change formula?
Remind me.
Okay, it totally goes with what we're talking about. The change formula, everyone, if you want to grow your business, your relationship, your marriage, it's vision times discomfort plus the very next new step that will have fear because it's new equals change.
Correct. Yeah.
So if we don't embrace discomfort, hold on. I'm going to ask Dimitri this. How do we not get our vision? What part of that equation keeps us from getting the vision we want? Because vision isn't enough. It's times.
Yeah, it is the willingness to go through discomfort and change. You can't grow if you're not willing to change and you're not curious. Yeah. So the name of our company is Curi Capital. Curi stands for curiosity.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know how you can grow personally or as a team or as an organization if you're not curious. Yeah. Because I think the opposite of that is closed-mindedness. Yeah. And thinking that you know it all. Nobody knows it all. Never. Mm-hmm. Until the day you pass away, you're constantly learning, or hopefully you are. Yeah. So when I think about vision, sure, we have some key measurements, and we have numbers, and we have revenue numbers and profit numbers and this and that, the other. All that's important. I'm not trying to dismiss that.
Of course, yeah.
But to me, when I think about our organization, or any organization for that matter, whether it's in financial services or hospitality or consulting, whatever it may be, to me, what I care about is I want what we're doing to make a positive impact in the lives of the people that we're serving. And I hope that's in the thousands, making a positive impact on the lives of the people that we work with together day in and day out, and then in the communities that we all operate in. So today, my organization has about 175 employees, and we are in 11 offices in 8 states, and we're very grateful to serve 3,500 people, 3,500 families. Wow. I want that number to become even more abundant, but it is all about alignment. It's not about, do we have the next flashiest investment and things like that. It really is about, like, when I think about winning, and I'm a competitive person, and you know this.
He's a 3 on the Enneagram.
I'm a 3 Enneagram. Yeah. And I've really reflected on this and dissected this over the years, especially the last 5 to 7 years. It's really not about winning and losing. Mm-hmm. It's about alignment.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And I have done this in my career. I know some of my colleagues have. You too may have. Others listening may have done this. Sometimes you think you're winning and you're actually not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? So maybe I worked with a client over the years, and maybe they had plenty of money, and I was generating revenue for our firm, and we were offering that service, but it just never really felt quite right every time you're interacting with the person. And there's nothing wrong or right about that, other than maybe there wasn't that alignment. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it's okay, right? to let go, to delegate. It's an opportunity for somebody else. I think that's where the true growth comes.
That's right.
Versus thinking like, hey, I'm picking up all these new clients and great, I have 10 new clients, but what if 4 of them they're just it's kind of fake. It's not really real.
Yeah. So I love this because this goes to commitment 6, which is about integrity, impeccability, and the whole yes.
Mm-hmm.
So having a whole yes to our head, heart, and gut, body, our whole self. Is this in alignment? Do I get excited about knowing this person, meeting this person, even though there might be some fear, like that can be there as well. And I've actually fired clients because it wasn't a good fit. And so they might even seem like a good fit. And we might say they're a good fit from the beginning, to your point of like always learning. If we're starting to feel like, don't really think this is a good match, releasing that situation is better for everyone because it's better for your emotionally inside, your team, and then also the client, because the client can sense it as well.
Yes.
And they're going to know it's not a good fit. And just to try and make it happen instead of just listening, like, hey, we care about you, but it's just not a great fit.
Yeah, and some of that, Deborah, it could be misalignment of values. It could be misalignment of expectations, but sometimes it's not even that severe, if that's the right phrase. It's more like maybe it's timing, right? Like that whole, like if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. Sometimes it's like, hey, this is a great potential opportunity, or this could be a great partnership, just not today.
Yeah.
And if both parties are not 100% all in, it's not going to be 100%.
That's right.
And it's that courage, it's that awareness, it's that ability to say like, it just no, maybe no permanently, but maybe no right now.
Yes.
And maybe the alignment's there in 5 years or in 5 months.
I love that. So that's so true, everything you just said. And the only way that you can discern that is self-awareness, what you said. You must be practicing, guys. I'm just saying this to all leaders, all CEOs, is if you're not taking time to know who you are, who you're being called to, and what you're being called to do in the moment, instead of doing autopilot, the same thing over and over again, you're not going to know what aligns with you. And that's where conflict comes from. Conflict isn't an external thing, it's an internal thing, because you're not listening to yourself. And then you create drama outside because you're trying to fix something that isn't. We try to fix things and we're not meant to fix. We're just to be with. And so I really appreciate that about you, because I know you practice getting to know yourself. So tell us, how do you spend time to get to know yourself?
All right. I do. So when you asked the prior question, you were at the beginning, you were talking about leadership. So I'll blend this recent question that you asked me with that one. I think leadership is actually very underrated. Every single human on the planet has the ability to be a leader. And leadership is not the title that you have at work.
That's right.
It's your behavior. Leading yourself is the first person you have to lead.
That's right.
Because if you can't do that as well as you possibly can, and no one's perfect, how can you lead your spouse? How can you be there for your children? How can you be there for your community? How can you be there for the company you work at or lead? You can't. So for me, and I'm pretty routine about this. And I think these routines that I have actually offer me flexibility everywhere else throughout the day. But almost every day, if not every day, I do meditate, I do journal, I do pray, I work out almost every morning, 5-6 days a week. Getting the day off to a great start is important. I've gotten much better over the years. I don't look at my phone or my emails from, let's say, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. There's an occasional, you're working on something big or whatever it may be, but I don't want my morning. If I wake up at 5:20, 5:30 every morning, the first 3 hours of the day, there's nothing digital about it.
Love it.
I try to read every day, at least half an hour. And no matter what's happening in my life, whether it's super exciting or a difficult obstacle that you have to face, I feel like if I do that, it continues to condition myself, and it's telling my body physically and mentally, everything's going to be okay.
That's right. That's right. I love that, because when we meditate, like Dimitri said. Meditation, guys, is just really sitting still, breathing, staying as much as possible in your present moment, and noticing when you shift out of being present, and noticing where your thoughts go, and just coming back to the present and breathing, and not being attached to the thoughts, just letting them float by. It's that simple, and we can do that all day long. We don't have to be doing that even when we're sitting, but being specifically assigning yourself to a time to be still, it creates a sense of peace and stillness, especially if you guys, anyone knows the Enneagram and knows the Enneagram 3. That is the opposite of what threes typically do. Threes typically don't want to sit still. They want to go, 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 do. And pretty much the opposite of our growth as leaders is pretty much the opposite of our patterns that we've lived most of our life. So winning, achieving, which most of you know, I almost lost my life thinking I was going to win, which Dimitri said earlier, winning is not the most important thing. It's how we're showing up as a leader, and we get to choose that who we're becoming as a leader. And the only way we can choose that is to be still and to practice. Who do I want to become? I ask myself that. Who do I want to become today? And who are the people I'm going to meet? And how do I want to show up in front of them? Like, prepare myself ahead of time. Like, how can I meet them? And I even wonder to myself, what might they be needing? Not that I'm going to fix them, or like, given my last conversation, or what might their heart need? Or what kind of conversation do we want to have together? Like, to prepare myself. And even before I walk in, like I did with you, as you all heard me say, I had some tears getting on the train. So I sat downstairs before I came upstairs, let the tears come, did some breathing, got present, and told you, because when I saw you, it was still a little bit there. So when we can be with ourselves and be still, we shift from being reactive leaders. We become responsive leaders. We learn to, oh, wait, there's a different way to make a decision than just doing the same old. And I find that most leaders are still very reactive. And I would like to know, how does this play out? I love that you show up for your team, which I said that already, your people. How does this impact when the markets are going nuts, or like now with Iran and the oil and all the things, and you got clients calling, and how do you support your team? How do you support your clients by already coming prepared for yourself? How does that work for you?
So the most important thing on that question specifically is preparation. That's the key answer. So we know, due to 120 plus years of really good data, that over time economies grow, capital markets grow, but they don't grow in a linear straight line up. There's always fits and starts, and some of those difficulties are more severe than others. So when you're thinking about personal financial well-being, and you know this a little bit about me, I love philosophy. I love Stoic philosophy, and the core principle of Stoic philosophy is know what you control and what you don't. And you don't control almost anything other than yourself, your feelings, your knowledge accumulation, and how you respond.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So with capital markets, you should it's important to understand that the capital markets will go up and down, and all you can control is being prepared for that, being prepared for it, knowing that you're not going to predict the timing of when things are going to go really well or go poorly, and then controlling your saving, controlling your spending, controlling how you have that money diversified and invested. And a lot of that anxiety and fear or greed goes back to what you just said a minute ago. It's all from within.
That's right.
There's a war in Iran. We learned, whatever it was now, a month ago, the United States and Israel bomb Iran. We didn't know that was going to happen that day. So getting worried about it, fired up about it, isn't going to fix it. So all we can do is take a look. So bring it back to financial wellness. Take a look and say, all right, is my portfolio diversified? Can I continue to save accordingly? Do I need to make some adjustments in my life if there is inflation and the costs are accumulating? What do I maybe need to temporarily slow down on or give back on? And if I continue with those slight modifications, I'll continue to be on a great track. And then when most people are fearful, the markets usually kind of turn around. And then people are surprised at how well things go in those years.
Yeah.
So to me, I've been in the wealth space now in pretty much my entire professional career, 20 plus years. I've realized over these couple decades, it's actually a lot less about the money. And it's more about our emotion and what our plans are in our lives and what's important to us and our families. And the money is just the tool.
That's right.
But that it's not the goal.
That's right.
And that's where we sometimes get caught up is we make money the goal. And then it creates all this kind of drama and misalignment in your life.
I so agree. So I love that you said that. I want every wealth leader to talk with you about that. Every leader, every CEO actually, because everyone gets caught up in an outcome, money. They worry at night about not having enough money to maybe pay their team or whatever it is. And again, we can't control the money. The only thing we can control is how we get to the money or whatever how we think, feel, and behave. That's the only thing we can control, and how we show up. And when the markets go crazy, if we're reactive and we're fearful, we're not going to be able to think of the best options. It's impossible because the brain won't allow us to. So you guys have heard me say this before in podcast world, being present is not something that we're actually born into. We're born into a mind that wants to think the worst, and it's constantly looking to protect us. And we are more than that. Until we start practicing being more than that, when things outside of us start getting all crazy, then we get crazier. And then outside gets crazier, then we get crazier. We must master, how am I more than this? How am I more than my old thinking? How am I okay? What can I control? Mm-hmm. How am I okay just right here, right now? How do I have enough right here, right now, even if I don't have any money?
Yep. Well, you said something earlier, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, you used the word, we're on autopilot.
That's right.
And there's data now, there's science around how 95% of our thoughts are unconscious.
That's right.
And it's no one's fault. We've been wired this way for 10,000 years and it just continues to build. But we do have the ability to rewire our minds.
That's right.
So and the person that we talk to the most every day is who? Ourselves. And if you're telling yourself, I don't have, I'm worried, I am scared, I don't have enough, I'm not capable, I can't, you are basically programming yourself for scarcity.
That's right.
But if you remind yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I've done this before, I am successful, I have abundance.
That's right.
You don't do this for 3 days, for 5 minutes every morning and voila. But what you tell yourself truly becomes your reality.
I so agree. Brandon, don't you just love him? This is what we talk about all the time. But here is a magnificent leader believing this and living this. He's like a rare breed. I'm so super excited to be here with him. Brandon, what do you have to say about all this?
I just think it's interesting because there's a concept that I believe in, and the concept, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, Dimitri. Stress is a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Do you believe that?
I do. And I'm not going to say that I don't have stress, but I feel over the years, as I've experienced more and maybe become a little bit more mature, I feel less stressed. I rarely have sleepless nights. I'll share another experience in my life that happened unexpectedly. It's a little vulnerable. Just over 4 years ago, my father unexpectedly passed away of a heart attack. And it was really interesting to me that after the initial shock, how like human nature kicked in. And it was, I need to get on a flight home. I need to be with my mom and my brother. I need to go make the arrangements. I need to go to the cemetery. I need to talk to the church. And I remember saying this to my mom and my brother, let's say 5 days after. I slept like a baby every single night for whatever reason. The
Mm.
day we found out, the day after, was 2 or 3 days before the funeral. The day of the funeral, I slept like a rock 8 or 9 hours each of those nights. I don't know why. And part of it could be, fortunately, I had him in my life for 42 years, and there's just so much to be blessed with and to think about. And I've I've found comfort in all those memories. We all mourn differently, but I find comfort in thinking about him and laughing and crying, and all that's okay. But it was the acceptance of this is what life is. Life is not just birth; it's also death.
That's right. That's right.
And it's not in our control.
That's right.
And all we can do is focus on the people that are still here,
right.
while remembering the memory of those that we lost. So,
Beautiful.
Brandon, again, I don't know why. Maybe strength, maybe faith, maybe all of the above. I didn't find myself worried and stressful in those moments, but it was more like this is our responsibility as people to be together and to celebrate this man and to be with our family.
It makes me think of, Brandon, can I interject real quick before I forget? Or did you want to say something
Sure.
right now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And what you had said, Dimitri, what's in our control, right? We can't even control our birth. And the same with death, right? We can't control either of those. And when we argue with what is, we suffer.
Correct.
It's as simple as that. When we argue with what is in front of us, when our mind starts to tell us stories that aren't supportive to ourselves and the world, we suffer. And realizing that what you did have with your dad and the memories that you will continue to call upon, and the acceptance of this is part of life and I can't control this, and that you're able to sleep, like you said, the letting go of what is, but still allowing the emotions to come up. It doesn't mean, when we allow things to happen, it doesn't mean we won't have emotions, everyone. Emotions are there for our learning and our understanding. And it's such a, I don't even have words. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, it's
Thanks.
really, really beautiful. Yeah, I remember when you lost him.
Yeah.
I remember that. And can't believe it's been 4 years. And I know that you are very close to your family.
Yep.
How is your mom doing?
They're the best. She's doing okay. She's, again, everybody mourns differently. Um, this was her life partner for her entire life. They had a different plan. That wasn't obviously, what the plan was, but she loves that we're back nearby around her grandchildren. My brother lives in California. She's going to visit them here this week. So she's doing okay. But what's important is, as I said before, like we all mourn differently. We all process the world around us differently. And another part of self leadership to me is we have to be really careful to not judge others, right? Just because it works for you, it may not work for me, and
That's right.
nobody's right or wrong.
That's right.
And another big part about leadership also to me is that control factor. I think so many leaders feel like because they sit in a certain seat that they are required to control everything or should control everything. You've always said, there are no shoulds in the world. And I watch leaders, I watch global leaders. It's so unfortunate. These declarations that get made about stuff that no human can control. Sometimes it is the outcome, a lot of times it's not. It's just dangerous, right?
Yeah.
To just say like, well, this is exactly what's going to happen. And a lot of times that's not what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a motivation. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have a vision. One of the books that I've read in the last 6 months, which I love, The Science of Scaling by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And he talks about in that book that if you know how you're going to achieve your goal, your vision isn't big enough.
That's right. That's right.
So we do have an amazing goal at Curi Capital. We truly are grateful for the 3,500 families that we serve. I want our organization to make an impact on tens of thousands of families. And then I'll get asked, well, how are we going to do that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know what we're going to do this year, and I know what we might do for the next 2 to 3 years, but I'm not really sure how that big goal is going to be achieved.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because if I know how we're going to achieve the goal, then I'm probably not going to live out what this organization is capable of.
That's right.
And we're created by something bigger, whether you believe in God or some other
Amen.
spiritual being. That being put this earth here, put us humans here.
Mhm.
There's a lot of abundance here.
That's right.
And we're capable of even more. And I'm not saying that out of greed. I'm not saying that out of not having enough. I'm just saying that we're much more powerful and capable than we think.
That's exactly right. And it all comes back to everyone. For me, I say this for me. When I say these things, guys, it's not preaching at you. It's a reminder for me always. If we have this big vision, it can't come from here. It must come from the heart. The heart knows where we're going to be led. Emotional intelligence, what lights us up, what brings us joy. And if we live in that space of more joy and create from joy our relationship to ourselves, we will create that with each other. And that is contagious. That is inviting. When we are in controlling, it's defensive. When we are trying to control our teams, when we're worried, we're not open to hearing others, and that slows growth or it pushes us the other way. It's as simple as it is. And the mind always wants to know. So we must override trying to figure out, well, what about that? It's where does my heart want to lead me? And can I trust that? That's the first place we ask. Our gut and our heart is the first place we ask. Where do I want to go with this? The mind will always tell you, you guys know this in the world. Oh, I would love to do this, but, or I would love to do this, but I can't, because the mind is always going to keep you right where you are. It never wants you to grow. So it wants you to stay right here. It is fighting for your limitations. That's what the mind does.
Mm-hmm.
So if we listen to our heart and step into a new step, like we've heard Dimitri model this, and not knowing what's on the other side, but we have a sense that this is going to be an amazing thing. The mind isn't going to know. We're still going to have to step forward in fear to get to the other side. But we got to stay in this space of joy and peace. What lights me up? We are meant for joy and peace. We are not meant for stress and overwhelm. And the reason we have stress or overwhelm is because we're believing our stories. We're believing lies. Basically, fear is a lie. It's delusional. It's just,
Right.
it makes up all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
And we tend to not check it. So everyone, if you don't have what you want, check your story, check your belief, because that's what's holding you back. If you believe you can, you will. If you believe there's more, there will be more. If you believe you're not enough, you won't be enough. But if you believe you are enough, you will be enough. If you believe you have enough, just right here, right now, you will have enough. And I always try to tell myself this, because the only thing we really have, the gift that we're all a gift, we're all amazing, we're all unique. We live at such a time as this, like no one else in all of eternity, to serve a loving being and world. If we really believe our breath is a gift, those smallest things, we can't even go manufacture our breath unless we're in a machine like I once was. How can we look at the small things in our life as a gift, and that we are worthy of that?
Yep.
We are worthy, regardless of what we have or don't have. We have the basics. We always have our breath, so we're enough. We are enough because we have our breath.
Absolutely.
And then we can do everything with our breath. And if we believe we can do that, we're going to have a very different hormones running through our body, right? When we have cortisol, which is like danger, Will Robbins, in danger, it's going to shut it down, and we actually won't even breathe fully. And that's where we can't think straight. We get stuck. So guys, plug again, go back to your breath.
So I was hoping, if we have a few more minutes, and this is actually kind of a question and setup, Brandon, for you and for Deborah. So in the last 3 years, if you were to ask me the question, like, how are things going in terms of like professionally and bringing these two firms together, I would say nothing has surprised me. The challenges, the opportunities, the growth, the obstacles, except one thing. I'm surprised at how much of my time, and I'm enjoying it, how much of my time I'm spending on thinking how AI will impact the organization, our lives, our clients. Uh, I'm just spending a lot of time on it, and it's tremendous learning. There's a lot of fear around AI, right? It is. I believe that there's an opportunity here, and this is. I'm leading into my question here. There's fear around it's going to wipe out all jobs. There's fear around like, are we going to lose control over it, and it's going to control us? I don't know if those two things will be true or not. My belief and faith is it won't be that extreme. But I would, if we change the paradigm for a minute, and we think, well, how can this be maybe one of the greatest inventions for human beings ever? And what do we get on the other side of that? Through all this learning, experts that I've been engaging with, everything that I've been reading, one of the simplest ways to understand AI's impact is humans have been doing machine work. Now we're going to let the machine do the machine work so humans can do human work.
Yes.
And what's human work? It's creativity, it's relation, it's collaboration. We're social creatures. Again, going back tens of thousands of years. And it didn't exist in terms of like commercialization until a couple, 3-4 years ago. We had no other choice to do that kind of work. But it's going to allow us to pivot our time. So the lead up to this is it's going to allow us to connect more. It's going to allow us to find people where we have alignment. So when I think about the two of you and doing this work together in this podcast, and Brandon, you and I met today for the first time, just tell me about how the two of you connected, where you have alignment, and the creation of this podcast and the other great things that you're doing together. I'd love to know that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I would love to, I'm so glad that you brought up the AI thing, because I'm actually working with a man that has developed a lot of AI for Google. And we're working on human leadership is even more valuable and needed now that AI is on the scene. And we're going to be doing podcasts or workshops on this, because especially that the top of organizations, the humanness of leadership is never going to go away, and is so needed with all this fear going on. So I'm glad that your team has you. So Brandon, we met through, I was coaching his boss at the time in Nashville, and Brandon and I just hit it off because he's a curious learner, and we love to learn together, and we started hiking together and started to get to know each other more. And he was going through some challenges around potentially changing and growing in his life. And I don't know how we started this podcast, but it was to practice this work and give it to the world, just like, because we need leaders like you. And Brandon, will you fill in all the stuff I'm missing? Please.
Sure. I was a leader of a restaurant group, and Deborah's work was very instrumental. And, when you're a leader, nobody gives you the feedback that you really need and that you want. And Deborah was one of the first people who would call me on my BS. She would go, "You're below the line right now." And I would say, "What?"
I didn't say it like that.
And it really was really welcoming to me, because I needed somebody to put me in my place, and for me to, and I'm receptive to that. I'm receptive to that because it's all logic and it makes complete sense to me, everything that she teaches. And I needed somebody to hold me accountable to my own BS. And it was really great. And I host, one of my other things, I host another podcast. It's like my main podcast that I do, called Nashville Restaurant Radio. And I've done 370 episodes of that show. But I had a studio that was half a mile from her front door. And I said, "Hey, this would be really cool to share with so many people, because these conversations are so impactful." And I think that we come across people every day who are so stressed, and I come across so many people who blame other people for their position in life. And I'm such a firm believer in the concept of, what part do you play in a result that you don't want, and taking personal accountability. And really, you are in control of one thing in this world, and about yourself. And I think we live in a victim for the most part. And I thought, you know what, Deborah, everybody needs to learn what you're preaching. Everybody out there needs to have the ability to learn some of these things, because it'll only help the entire world get better. And I said, I'd love to help you with it. I do podcast. I can help you do all this stuff. So I love meeting people like you, Dimitri. I love being a part of this whole thing. I'm just gracious that she allows me to be in her orbit. And it's just a blessing for me all around.
So Brandon, I just want to say, if I could tweak one thing, and it's kudos to you.
Let's go.
I don't ask you, or I don't say to you where you're below the line. I ask you, where are you?
I love that. She'll go, where do you think you are right now? Above the line, I'll say, well, based around the context clues of that question, I'm going to say that I'm below the line at this point.
You know where you are.
Yeah, but
she never asked me that when I'm above the line, by the way.
well, I just want. I want to give you kudos because you're willing to look at yourself and locate where you are. And that right there is work, because the ego doesn't want us to look at what's going on. It wants to run the show. The ego, guys, meaning the false stories, the false identities, a small part of our brain that keeps us stuck. It doesn't want us to grow. So when, again, being uncomfortable is our growth. So kudos to you, Brandon, for being uncomfortable when I asked that question, and for listening to yourself and for looking inward. Because as a leader, I think, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Dimitri, is we can't make people look inside. We cannot make people be self-aware. We can lead them to that. We can give them opportunity to practice. We can invite them to be in our orbit, as you say, and to practice.
Yep.
And I believe everyone is on a different, we're all on the same journey. We all want love. We all want to be accepted. We all want to belong. But sometimes, given maybe our history, our experiences, we aren't maybe as open. We might have had a lot of things happen to us, or we don't know. I don't know. So
I agree.
So Dimitri's earlier, he had said, you want to, how did you say this? You kind of meet people where they're at. We can't drag people. But as a leader, I have found as well that you give people the opportunity, but at some point, if they're not willing to learn, it impacts an organization. It impacts the relationship that they're having with the people on the team. It impacts decision-making. It impacts culture. And guess what? It impacts revenue. So I believe the most important decision you can make when you hire people and keep them or not keep them is, are they learners? Are they willing to look at themselves? Are they willing to get curious? Are they willing to look at, as Brandon brought up, this is not the outcome I was hoping for. Can I look at it? How did I unintentionally create this? Or am I going to blame myself or blame someone else? I mean, that's everything.
Yeah, the thought that I had in my mind after you two shared what you shared was, I want to be helpful to people. I'm willing to share my experiences, but only if they want to learn those experiences or be helped.
That's right.
You can't force somebody to help themselves. You can't force the help on them if they don't want to help themselves. Right. And again, I'm not stating that from a judgmental point of view. It's simply, there'll just be a clash. There'll be misalignment. And I get the question asked a lot. Well, who's like the right client for your firm? And we do have a number of different professionals that we serve, or demographics, or whatever it may be. But the real answer to that is, we want to serve people who want help and advice on their finances. If somebody's going to come in and not really want advice and just kind of challenge, it's not going to be a great fit.
They're not open.
So if you want to be helped and get true advice, because we're not selling a product, right? We're not selling you a mutual fund, or then we could have a conversation. But If you don't want to be helped, if you don't want advice, you just kind of want to, see what the best performing thing is out there, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Agreed. So I know it's time for us to wrap this up, sadly, because I'm sure we could be talking about this all day long for days. And I'm super excited because I know out there people listening to this are going to get so much wisdom and encouragement and a reminder about what leadership really is. So Dimitri, how do people find you?
People can find our organization at curicapital.com, and the only social media that I'm on is LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, Dimitri Eliopoulos. That's the best. Those are the best 2 ways.
Yeah, and Curi is C-U-R-I.
C-U-R-I.
C-U-R-I, Curi Capital, and we're here on Wacker in Chicago at the UBS building. Can I say that?
Sure. That's the name of the building.
And just super excited. And guys, I just want to close by I'm speaking about the work I do a little differently. The invisible wins create the visible wins in our life and in our work, meaning we must master the invisible, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how I'm behaving. Once we continue to master, it's a practice. We'll never be one and done. It's continuing to practice. That creates the visible wins in our life and in our work. So this mastery, if you want to know more about it, reach out to me. And I actually have a new assessment. It's about 10 minutes to take. If you go to Sunderland Coaching, right on my website, it will say an assessment, and it will show you what kind of leader you are, and not in a blame way, but where your default is and how to get out of it. It's a small taste of the Enneagram in a sense. So I just want to make that plug. And Brandon, as always, I love you to pieces. Thank you for being on this journey with me. What would you like to say?
You know what? I think you've summed everything up wonderfully, and I'm just honored to be a part of this. And we're honored. I wanted to say, Lewis Jones has been on this this podcast here, and he had commented. I want to tell you what he said about Dimitri. He said, agreed that Dimitri is one of the kindest CEO leaders, and his kindness is his strength. So I want to give him a shout out, Lewis Jones, for joining us on the show today and listening, and everybody out there listening.
Awesome.
We want to say thank you.
It's so true about Dimitri. Love him so much.
We've got a lot of great episodes coming up, and we wanted to say thank you for joining us here on Shut Up
and
Thrive. There you go.
We got the delay there. Thank you, Brandon. Love you, hun. See you soon.
Love you.